Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This is Eddie Marcus one more time, and I'm here. I'd like to share some information with you. And I want to thank you for stopping on this post and giving me your time. And it is not my intention to waste it, but to give you some crucial, some vital, and some superb information for the benefit of you, this nation, and the world. I'm constantly talking to you, and many of you might ask why I feel that I have some credentials, why I should be creditable in the things that I say to you. I'll try to see if I can give you just a taste. My most obvious, as far as I can see, commitment to you is because you are my brothers. You are my sisters. We are human beings, and we all come from the same source. And I care about you. We have the same evidences of life. We have the same requirements of resources for survival. And I spent a lot of time. I spent about 50 years as a social scientist. Not only that, I have a respect for God, especially having an experience whereby I recognized some things happening in my life that was undeniable, and they were impossible for any human being to do. And they worked out in my favor, to the extent that I still live when perhaps had it not, I'd been gone. And so my presence still here on the earth, for some strange reason, forces me to believe in a simple matter that I have a responsibility to that unseen power that allows me to be here today, to do something in my lifetime, my present lifetime, by still being here, that would lift up that power that you can't see and apparently have lost all respect for, if you ever had it, as a example of the reality of its existence. And I'm talking about God. As brothers and sisters, ladies and gentlemen, usually brothers and sisters care about one another. And those things that come along in life that would separate them have to do with benefits. Those things that can bring pleasure and joy in life, if you got them, and take away from it if you don't. And so, being an advocate for God, my Father, your Father, my concern is unity. My concern is that which can hold the earth in whatever order it is, in wherever it is. That which can hold the rain in the sky and hold the oceans in the earth, wherever they're at, and allow the grass to grow and the flowers to bloom and the trees to do what they do. It just makes it so wonderful for me to, without a doubt, be glad that I have enough desire for the continuity of life and what life is all about, that even though I am denied because I choose not to do what you do, I used to do it, I deny myself that of this temporary joy for a joy that will be maintained longevity wise for those who are beneficiary of the message that I bring. What am I saying to you? I'm saying, ladies and gentlemen, that I speak to you today not as one that's so intelligent that I am always getting accolades or some type of recognition for being a genius, because I'm not, or having such a profound understanding about things of the established order that supports it and recognized as such. I don't have to just relate with big words, because most of you that are necessary to do the kinds of things that are required to make this a better society, yourselves don't dwell on big words. But I would like to take this moment in time to say to you, peace. We all want peace. Prosperity. We all want prosperity. Joy in our lives. We all want that. And we all want freedom. We all want the fulfillment of our dreams. That's one of the grandest reasons why we say we want to live and not commit suicide, whether we're jumping off a building or getting caught up in drugs or other things that are considered as self-destructive. I've gone through a lot of these things myself, ladies and gentlemen, at a time when I didn't understand why. I thought it was just a pleasure hike, and I did not recognize the forces that were guiding me. However, I went that way, and I learned that way, from that way, and I'm qualified to sit here and speak on those subjects whenever I'm required to do so. I want those things that you want, but we're not getting them, ladies and gentlemen, and if we stay on the same path that we are on, we are not going to get them. I basically would need to tell you the truth. If we want these kinds of things that I just mentioned here in America, we're going to have to overthrow this government. We're going to have to overthrow this system of government. And that would be pretty good for a while, but only for a while. For it to really have any maintaining longevity significance, the advocacy must go beyond America. And my focus should be not just on we here in this country, but on people like you and I, everywhere, all over the globe, in every system of government. This message is to you. The only ones that do not want us to have this peace and prosperity and freedom and joy of life are those that got it already. They did some awful things to get it. They stole it, they lied, they cheated, they terrorized, they killed, they engaged in wars, they engaged in genocide, they engaged in every horrible thing you can imagine to get it. And the reason that they did that is because they didn't understand the proper way to do it. As here on earth, very few people have ever known. If you ask yourselves, where have it ever existed? I can't think of an institution that can give you some information about any geographics that allowed such to happen for any people anywhere under any circumstance. And so we're talking about something actually brand new. We're talking about something that even if the story is true, the angels couldn't maintain in heaven. And I'm speaking to you saying that we should, out of necessity, be able to do it today, here, all of us, in America, in Europe, wherever people exist on the 7 continents of this earth. The government must be overthrown. To what end? To the ends of those things that I just mentioned. that social development. And those some of the things that are being essential in that understanding would be that you, the people, every last one of us here in the United States, in Mexico, in Canada, in Russia, in China, North Korea, the Philippines, wherever you are, every last one of you should have something that would give you the greatest joy you could ever imagine. And what would that be? It would be something that allowed you, to be free. And what is that? That's a career. A career of your own choosing. Not something that someone else designed for their benefit and allowed you in, but you came here with it. It's a natural desire to engage, to be a part of something, to have significance, to be useful. And that's a career of your own choosing. Now, there's something about this plan that I'm speaking to you about that has already been set up. The thing about this career of your own choosing, and the careers that are available for you to choose or for you to imagine and create, they are all interconnected in such a way that as you engage yourself, you actually create, you actually cause a manifestation of all those other essentials that will sustain the promise of life. Health care, from the womb to the tomb, all over the earth. Education, unlimited and unrestricted, all over the earth. Food, clothing, and shelter, all over the earth, unlimited. Infrastructures as you desire them, wherever you are. Life. This kind of epitomizes what heavenliness is all about. Those that would be essentially necessary in causing this to happen would be the poor. Those who are not so poor. Those who are better off than those. In fact, the 99%. Excuse me, ladies and gentlemen, I just need to take this call. Hello. Hello. Yeah. Okay. All right. Goodbye. Need to apologize, but sometimes some information come in, some messages you must take, and when the Spirit moves you to take care of some business, for instance, like I'm trying to do with you today, I gotta do it when the Spirit moves, and even if a call comes through, I don't mind taking it, and I hope you don't mind. So it's a different group of people. It is those people who are not riding the clouds today. You know, in America, we have white people. They feel threatened by people who are not so white. They feel like they are in danger. And for some strange reason, due to their development, due to what they have been exposed to in their lifetime, they feel that the only way that they could survive is to kill and destroy everything else. You've heard the expression, "Where is the devil? Where you been, boy?" He said, "I've been all over the earth, going back and forth, trying to see what I can destroy and kill, or what I can steal, what I can claim as my own." And we know here in America that they've been doing that, especially with people of color, ever since we've been here. We came here under that pretext of doing something better for all of us. Now, I don't know if they meant doing something better for, well, there have been people who said that black people should be glad that we were brought out of Africa as slaves because it was so bad in Africa to being a slave here in America was better than living in Africa. That kind of reminds me of some things that Donald Trump said about the people at the border. He says that the things that the people were going through in their country, regardless of how devastating it is at the border today, being oppressed at this border is better than where they came from. And yet, he's a white man, and his solution is send them back to the hell that they came from. You see, that's kind of what I'm trying to talk to you about, ladies and gentlemen. If you want a better world, you're going to have to get some better people. These are not better people. Now, am I saying that the darkest people are better? I don't know if the darkest people are better or not, but I'm not going to lift them up and say that they are. I'm going to say that there's a power, there's an understanding about life. There are certain philosophies that are given and are permanent. When exercised, will produce as much heaven as that philosophy that has produced all this hell that we're in. If we are going to survive as a human species, we're going to have to stand up. And just as white people have been trained to maintain themselves through whatever vices they have to commit, those of us who have been under that bondage have also been programmed to be satisfied with that. And if we're not satisfied, to accept it regardless. So I want to tell you that if you really want to live, you're going to have to throw off that type of education. You're going to have to throw off that type of training. And in order to do that, you're going to have to know who you are, why you are, and how to be what you are. And for me to give you a good synopsis of what that is, ladies and gentlemen, I need to introduce you to God. Now, many of you look at the world, the earth, you know, even the white man didn't create the earth. And all of the resources that are embedded in the earth, you know, white people didn't do that. And even though you know that when I speak to you about God, they are white people that are talking about God too. And yet they are not talking about freedom for all people. They're talking about positions of power that would allow them to be lords over everybody else, like in many instances it has always been. But these are not just white people. In any country where there are any kind of people, whoever is in power, whoever is running things, they live under the same basic principles as white people. Somebody else got to be down so they can be up. So when I talk about the things that I'm saying right now, you know I'm talking about the Christian right. I'm talking about the evangelicals. I'm talking about the fundamentalists. And they're trying to set up this nation right now so they can control it just like they want it, and they do not give a damn about what you think about it. And they are willing to put you in prison. They are willing to slaughter you. They're willing to take away anything that benefits you to cause you to suffer, to bring you to their way of being superior over you. Now that is not God. So the God that I speak to you about, ladies and gentlemen, is the God that interacted, all interchanged and interconnected all of these various careers that you have in such a way that it would produce the fulfillment of your dreams. And because it all came from God, even you, and even the desires and the abilities that you have still within you, that is being called out, manifested, that involves you in extracting from all the different resources that are essential to do all of the wonderful things that you do. It's from God. I want you to wake up, change your mind. And I need you to understand, ladies and gentlemen, that the way this heavenliness is supposed to operate is a natural order. I have a friend that I've often heard in some social meetings that when turtles are born, you can have them on the beach, you can have them in the sand, wherever, but once they are birthed and come up out of wherever they're at, the first thing they start doing is gravitating towards water. They say that's a natural order. It's a natural order for when an animal, say a horse or a cow, produces a child and an offspring. It doesn't take them long to stand up. Nobody even have to teach them. They just start stomping around till they stand up, while we have to stay where we are for quite some time before we can make those kind of moves. It's a natural order of things. So when we start talking about peace, there's a natural way to have peace called justice. And we must know that, and those who don't, we must teach them what justice is. And it is not by putting a brick over their head or a stick over their head. It's by allowing them to reap the benefits of justice. Not stacking a courthouse. So what you want, when others don't want it, you can cause it to happen anyway, even when what happens causes them pain and suffering. Doesn't do anything for their lives. It doesn't do anything to the ones who control it, except give them the satisfaction that they got some power to rule. So when I talk to Americans, when I talk to you, black people, you know in your own heart, you've, under your conditions of life, have been satisfied in your thinking that there's no way you can be as evil and cruel as the white people. And at the same time, there are African nations who are just as cruel as white people. But here in America, you know the story. It's not you. So I'm speaking to you about an opportunity to give you a chance to be you, not to rule, not to control and manipulate anything but yourself. And you've made a decision about yourself that you're willing to be a part of the solution. You're willing to be a part of joy. Give your part, receive your part. We want to do things in a natural way. You know, when the wind blows, the trees will bend, regardless of how strong they might have been. They will even be brought to their knees. And so, sometimes it requires we, the people who've been suffering so long, to become like the wind and do those kinds of things that those who stood like trees didn't believe could be done. But all it took was you to stand, and having stood, you're free. What am I saying? I'm saying the system of government in the United States has always been failing from the day it started. And there have been periods in time where it was obvious. They call them depressive states, and they have found a means to kind of rise above that temporarily, but it keeps coming back. And what happens here in the United States is just a sign of the things that happen all over the world. So I'm speaking to the Chinese people, those of you who find that your government is robbing you, allowing other powers to come into your environment, calling themselves bringing jobs, when actually what is going on is the people, these businesses, these corporations are coming in and getting cheap labor, working your butt off for little of nothing, and denying you the fulfillment of your dreams. They talk about the United States and China having one of the most robust governments and systems. And you know what we're going through here in the United States. You can bet it's even worse than China. So what good is this nation to say it's one of the biggest and boldest and wealthiest got it going on. What good is it to say that it is threatened by China because they're moving on up and they're doing all this when its people are suffering? And the only thing that they're getting is a means, a lie, a deception to try to get them angry with one another and fight off one another. I heard somebody today say that Christopher Hedges say something about Donald Trump. Say he came from the pit of the swamp. You talking about draining the swamp? He came from the pit of the swamp. He didn't just come up out of the swamp. He came through under the bottom of the swamp. He went down through the drain and came out because of the changes, the various things that's happening in the United States that got you, the people, so depressed. You, the 99%. The 1%, they're not depressed. But what you have to do is make some changes in your own perception and action to the degree that they no longer feel comfort. What are we trying to do? We're trying to bring some justice to all of us, all over the earth. And this is not my ambition alone. This is not my dream alone. This is the vision of your Heavenly Father. Your Heavenly Father. I'm asking you to get another Heavenly Father. Not your race. Not your gender. But a Heavenly Father. A one you can't see. And understand that, ladies and gentlemen, that you don't know who made the earth. But it's here. And if you want to keep on believing what you've been taught, then look at the hellishness that's coming out of the existence of those that you have put on the throne to replace that power you can't see, can't touch, can't feel. Now you got something you can look at. Look at Donald Trump. America, look at Donald Trump. You see how fake he is. You see how demonic he is. And you do understand every day how people are accepting him as some superpower that's changing the earth. You better hope you get his butt out of that office before he does, and don't replace him with anyone like him. In fact, don't put anybody on the throne but God. And the agreement between you, the people, that the life that you desire is wrapped up in the same life that other people desire. And if you want to have yours, they got to have theirs. So you got to agree. So you find some commonality and make sure that there's nothing that comes around that will destroy it or take it away. You know how many people suffering without food? And you got your government where they had tried to set up, well, before they became so evil, a system. Aid for families with dependent children, some food stamps or whatever to help people out. And as time passes and the suffering is growing, you got people coming along trying to cut that out. Donald Trump says, keep these people from coming from these third world countries from suffering so much, who have come here and settled for a little bit, so that you, when they persecute you to the extent, you'll start working for $1.50 an hour. But that ain't going to bring the gas prices down. That's not going to bring the food down. What they're going to do is send you to the dollar store, send you to the general store, send you to the Goodwill, because that's all you're going to be able to afford. And you got education, you got degrees, but those degrees come from those institutions that have been set up by those that are abusing you, misusing you, and, my friends, robbing you. I wish there were something I could say, but I'm remembering that there was a time, they say, that there was a young man who walked around working miracles, opening the eyes of the blind, giving the deaf a voice, clearing out the ears so others could hear, taking power and putting it in the legs so those that couldn't walk now can walk. And still wasn't enough. They still wanted to listen to a man that told them that some of them were better than others, that they deserved more than others, and that they were special. And in order for them to implement that, they came up with, rather than doing things natural, following a natural order, they came up with money, having stolen those resources that God had given from you because you had some compassion in you. You didn't believe that people would be this cruel, and you didn't want to have anything to do with it. When they were doing it to you, you figured they'd stop. And they didn't stop. In America, they came and they slaughtered the natives and took their land and put them on reservations and called them savages. And they were doing the destruction. They were the savages, but they put that label on those that they were persecuting. Brought black people over here and called them slaves, called them less than dogs, niggers, and black. I can't say the word. While they were doing all the evilness, all of the pain and killing and destruction, and called themselves perfect. Can you believe it? And we still sit around thinking that things going to get better. They're not going to get better, ladies and gentlemen, unless we make them better. And if you stand up, if you face the truth, God will be with you. Now there will be some of us who will die. Who cares about it? We're going to die in a darn way. I just had a brother that passed. My brother was such a wonderful guy. Everybody loved him. That doesn't mean he was perfect. He was just funny. And wherever there was going to be a party and people knew, is he going to be there? They knew it was going to be a party for sure. It was such a wonderful thought of this young man being alive that when I passed, he would eulogize me, because I knew at my going home there would be a big party for those who came to pay respects. Well, he went before me. And I'm going. And you are going. And we can't stop that. So why do we have to settle for being abused? Why do we have to settle for opioids? Why do we have to settle for drugs and exploitation of sex, trying to find some pleasure in life, trying to find some measure in life, because we've been robbed of the purpose for your own individual existence? Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm talking to you right now, and I realize that a couple of things I'm trying to say to you, some of those phrases just won't come. Some of the words don't match, and they might sound a little strange, but I don't care. I know you know what I'm talking about. I'm like Trump. Some things I just don't remember, but I know pain, I know suffering, and I do know joy, and I don't have it, and neither do you. But you want it just like I do. And I know that it's not going to come from white people, and it's not going to come from black people. In fact, it's going to come from God. And only the people that can deliver it are those people that allow the spirit of that love of God live within them. And I'm not talking about preaching. I'm not talking about the Bible. I want you to know that these big mega churches are nothing but devil-infested institutions. Now, I know they don't like me to say that, but hey, they say of me, I don't know if it's true or not, they say straight is the way, and narrow is the gate that people who live and understand truth come in at. But people of all this confusion, following all these lies, following all this deception, smiling and grinning, they say, I mean, it's a broad way. And wide is the gate that is open for them. And most of the people are going to go through that. And I'm not saying that this message that I'm giving you today is going to stop that. All I want to do is deliver this message in hopes that some of you will receive it. Some of you will be able to allow that spirit to live in you. And stand up bold and say no more to all of the powers that will screw over you and yours. Capitalism has failed. It has never been any good for all of us. Dictatorships, communism, and socialism, in the way we have had it explained to us, is no different than capitalism. They all fail. Why? Because in it, there's still suffering. And what I'm talking to you about is a system that there is no suffering. I'm talking about a system where you, the people, every last one of you, engage yourselves in that thing that gives you your greatest joy. And you don't have to worry about that. You just do that. Everything else is interacted naturally. So the rewards will be plenty. It will be in such an abundance that not one child in America, black or white or any color in between, would have to go without food. And I'm not talking about a hand-me-out sandwich. I'm talking about a well-developed meal. I'm not talking about meals that get you fat and all bloated. I'm talking about healthiness. Not a single one would have to be walking around with a snotty nose and nappy hair. And I'm not just talking about curly hair, I'm talking about that straight hair too. Not a single one of your old parents would have to walk around wondering what they're going to do, dragging themselves around trying to maintain some second job so they can help out somebody else, and that they might have a little assistance for this health care that's costing them everything. Man, oh man, oh man. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm saying these things to you, and my hope is that you could kind of identify because of the pain and suffering that you've been going through. But that doesn't mean that you're going to think that this is the solution. You have to look at it. What you're looking at a black man. And you've been trained to think that black people don't have anything. In fact, black people have been trained to think the same thing. When Barack Obama first started running for president, black people didn't think Barack Obama had a chance. They weren't really thinking about Barack Obama. They were thinking about another white person. That's what they were thinking about, ladies and gentlemen. The only thing that made black people start agreeing and believing that Barack Obama had a chance is when they found out that some white people thought he had a chance, and that some white people would support him. When they said white people would support him, then they jumped up. We got a black man running for president. Before then, Barack Obama was just another phase trying to trick somebody in the minds of black people. But white people said it was okay, and then black people accepted it. When I ran for president of the United States, I was a young man then. I knew the terminologies that I wanted to use. I knew the phrases that I wanted to use. And I enjoyed myself standing before you, sharing the truth with you, but I was still black. And I did not ask you for any money. I didn't run as a Republican or a Democrat because I know that game is still the same. It's just power set up in such a way that if you are not totally convinced, then here's another little offer. You look at what's going on right now. You look at how Trump is abusing the system right before your face, how he lied, cheating. You got somebody on the Democratic Party that's supposed to be your representative to protect you. And they won't even take this guy to court. They won't even impeach him so that the rest of the nation can know exactly how evil he is. They're thinking about being smart. They're not thinking about being smart. They are part of the system. They are in the power positions. In order to be in that power position, somebody else got control over you. It's not your people. It's not those that voted for you. It's not those constituents that got power over you. The only time they got power over you is when they tell you if you don't do what they tell you to do, or demand that to do what they want you to do. They're going to sit your butt down, and until they tell you that, and these people understand that, they're going to keep on answering to the dictates of your oppressors. Miss Pelosi, everybody think she's so smart. She ain't smart. She's dumb as dumb can be. Look how they did Bill Clinton. You know what they would have done to Barack Obama if he had done anything like Donald Trump. And yet Donald Trump is doing it, and you can't be more blatant than what Donald Trump is doing. And what are the Democrats doing? Whispering behind the curtain saying, we're doing this, we're doing that. They're not doing a goddamn thing. I had to say that because I want, if you forget everything else I said, you will remember what I just said. They ain't doing a goddamn thing. And you're believing in them. You're believing in them. You're believing that they know best. They do not know best. Anytime you are hurting, and it is not being fixed, whoever is supposed to be fixing it don't know what the hell they're doing, or they don't give a damn. And that's when you should stand up and say no more. But what are you doing? You're letting them tell you, well, we got a bunch of candidates now. One of them would do it. One of them would do it. They ain't going to do nothing. Why? Because they know the game. They see what you take. The powers that be will allow them to get in there. Will they allow me to get there? Will they allow someone like me to get there? No way. They'll have my body splattered all over this earth before they let me get there. Why? Because I'm a threat to their bullshit. Hey, and I am. I stand up for God. Well, God don't allow you to curse. Says who? Says you. God, that same God that allowed you to drop bombs on people, use drones to drop bombs on people to kill people, rather than feed people, rather than help people live? That's the God that told you don't curse? I don't call it cursing. They told me a curse was something else. I don't know what that is. But I cuss your ass out. And those of you who might be religious, who hear me say this and say, you're going to again, I do not care what you think about me. I care what I think about you. I think about you. I want you to sleep good at night. I want you to wake up in the morning feeling refreshed. I want you to put on your clothes, to wash up, eat your breakfast with a big smile on your face, walk outside your door and say, thank God thank God Almighty because it's a wonderful day. I want you to raise your hand up and wave at your neighbor across the street each side. And if you can reach the ones behind, say, hallelujah, brother. This is a brand new day. You don't even have to say anything. Just walk out with a great big smile on your face, and they know, and you know that everything is all right because the smile on your face is the same smile on their face, and you ain't got no fears, you ain't got no threats, you got liberty. You think they would allow me? And I didn't just run for president once. I ran against Bill Clinton a couple of times as a write-in. I ran against Barack Obama as a write-in. I ran for governor of the state of Minnesota as a write-in. A couple of times for United States senator from the state of Minnesota as a write-in. You never heard of me because the system don't play that junk. You think if I was representing the system as a write-in, you'd heard of me. I went to a radio station once and I wanted to talk to the people. They said, oh, you want to, what? Redistribute wealth. And no, we can't let you talk about stuff like that. I wasn't talking about redistributing wealth. I was talking about freedom. I was talking about liberation. I was talking about joy. I was talking about rebirth. Hey, hallelujah. I better slow down. I might get a little happy over here. Some of that preaching to come out. Ladies and gentlemen, I've talked, 42 minutes. And I know many of you, if you're still listening, it's because you heard something that you liked and you wanted to hang around and see if you like the rest of it. And those of you who don't want freedom, those of you who are so ignorant, so blind, and so out of it, you quit after the first few seconds. That's okay. That's why we're in the world that we're in. But I tell you what, every last one of us is going to die. They might take us out while we're at a baseball game or at a movie. We might be at a picnic. Somebody come out and decide that we don't have any business being here and they just take us out. Or we might just die of old age, sick with heart attacks and strokes. No telling where we're going. The thing of it is, what did we do for others while we were here? Did we just smoke weed? Did we just do crack and this other stuff and try to go to the hotel with 2 or 3 different ladies or 2 or 3 different men? Is that all we can say is our legacy? How many are alive? How many are educated? How many are pretty and handsome and fulfilled because of your living? I've lived a long time, and when I think about all that I've had done for me, when I think about all the people that have been engaged in my life, and there have been many. I heard when I was born, my cousin had a daughter around the same time that I was, and she told me one day we was talking. She said, Eddie B, that's what they called me. I remember when you were a baby, I had my daughter on one breast titty and you on the other one. Can you imagine things so tight that you got to share your breast milk and not suction it out, but actually sucking somebody else's titty to get your food? Hey, this is nothing new. People do this all the time where people suffer. And having been brought through that, you think I'm going to sit here and see all of the hell that we are going through and I'm not going to say anything to you about it? I know you suffer. You're working 2 or 3 jobs. You're going into debt, getting credit, trying to make it to the next day. And how you going to pay this crap back when it's called for? What you going to do then? And then they're going to take back whatever you got if it's worth taking and give it to somebody else. Give it to somebody else. I remember when I first came to Minnesota, I bought a car. I came from Mississippi where you didn't have to have car insurance. So I had the car when I got it off the lot had insurance on it. But when that period was over, I didn't add any additional insurance because I said I got a father that protects me. So no insurance. But I paid the car off. Went out there one day to get in the car was gone. Found out that the financier had came and took the car. I said, I paid for it. I got all of the bills paid. They said, no, you didn't. You didn't pay the insurance. I said, I had no insurance. They said, well, we put insurance on it. I said, well, so what that got to do with me? But they took my car. And nobody cared. When they do it to you, you think anybody care? When they cut back on your FDC, when they cut back on your food stamps, you think anybody care? Do you care? And if you do care, what are you doing about it? That's exactly what they expected you to do. Nothing. You got 99% of the people in this country and all over the earth that's suffering, going through all these different changes. And 1% of the people have educated you, trained you, and manipulated you in such a way you're sitting back on your butt taking it. You should take a little note from those people in Hong Kong. You should take a note from people who rise up and say, we're fed up with this bull and we're not going to take it anymore. And before we do, we'll burn the sucker down. You're talking about hell, or fire. You ain't got to wait. If you don't straighten this mother up and treat us like, and get out of our way, and treat us just like we're just as special as you, if you don't get out of our way, we're going to all be one in the streets. We're going to all be out there just like a hurricane that just passed by. We're going to all look around and see nothing out there but one another. What are we going to do then when we look out there and see nothing but one another? Are we going to pick up sticks and jump and start destroying one another? Or are we going to go to work and take care of the business to create that which we need, that which we could have had in the beginning? What are we going to do? You should ask yourself that. Or are you just so caught up on trying to live till you'll do anything just to live, except the right things? Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to close this out right now. I want to tell you this. I'm speaking to you not because I'm so smart. I'm not smart. My education sometimes makes me question if I really am educated. Excuse me, but my heart is right. Hold up. Let me just say goodbye. I got to go.